In this lesson, we will discuss lighting control using a motion sensor. The basic idea is that when the motion sensor detects movement, the light turns on for a set period. After the movement stops, the light remains on for a certain amount of time. We will also demonstrate how to add a button that can turn off the light or even disable the motion sensor. Before we can control the light with the motion sensor, we must first set the light to its normal state. We will set the default value with this smart rule. Click on the RGBW. Here you can see digital output section. It is not a digital output like a relay, but it is a property of light in our software architecture. The states are not only the brightness and saturation of the light, but also whether it is in off or on state. So we'll choose its off. This means that if the status is not controlled by automatics, the light is off. Click on Done. Next, we will add a smart rule called the lighting timer. We will add a motion sensor. And here we have the possibility to configure it better. We can limit when the motion sensor will turn the light on. We can limit it, for example, with a fixed time, which means that the sensor will turn on the light only from 8 o'clock in the evening to 7 o'clock in the morning. And so the motion sensor will be taken as a possible trigger of the smart rule. We also know other scenario, when we have an interior brightness sensor. In such a case, we configure that when the brightness is less than some value, the light is turned on only then. As a result, it works so that when the sun is shining, we don't want the motion sensor to turn on the light, so we can limit it in these two ways. Well, when motion is detected, the light should turn on. We can determine the duration of the lighting. If the movement lasts, for training purposes, we will set 5 seconds after the movement is detected. We can expand the configuration by, for example, push-button control. We will add a button. Configuration with a button will add several options. Firstly, if the light is turned on with a button, it overrides the motion sensor. This setting is suitable if the sensor is not set optimally or the switch is behind the corner and we do not want to wait for the light to turn on when entering the room. For example, when I'm cleaning the closet in the hallway, I don't want the light to keep turning off, so we use this setup. This configuration ensures that the lights stay on until we turn lights off using the switch button. This was a situation where we turn on the light with a button before it turns itself on due to the motion sensor. The opposite scenario is if the light is turned off using the button, then it is necessary to suppress the turning on of the light with a motion sensor. Here we can set, for example, 5 seconds. That's the lighting configuration. Now we can test it. We see that the light is off and we will test the scenario when motion is detected and the light has to be turned on. In the service settings, we simulate motion by negating the status. After the motion simulation, the light turns on at the value we set for it. As the movement continues, the light does not turn off. This smart rule is still active, so the smart rule below it is not activated. When the movement ends, the light will only stay on for 5 seconds. We turn off the motion simulation and thus the smart rule has expired and the smart rule below has turned the light off. Let's test one more scenario. When motion is detected and the light is on, we press the push button so the motion sensor is supposed to be suppressed. The light went off for 5 seconds and came back on. Let's check this why it's working like this. We have set that if the light is turned off using the button, the motion sensor should only be suppressed for 5 seconds. This means we still have motion detected. Of course, these 5 seconds have been designated only for the purpose of this video. In reality, it is advisable to set a longer time than 5 seconds. That's the lighting configuration. See you in next lesson.